What's up?
The time now being 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. on Wednesday, August 28th. We'll call the meeting to order. I'll ask everybody to stand up for pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Ms. Gerose.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Mr. Ravagno.
Here.
Mr. Lucy.
Present.
Mr. Cottom.
Present.
And Mr. Patriot is here also. Okay, I'll call for a treasurer's report. Ms. Gerose, please.
Okay, this is as of last week. The available balance as of 8/20, excuse me, in the payroll account is $15,085.33. And Joanne, where did we put the... Okay, then the operating account, okay, right here. Available balance is $168,067.87 as of 8/20. And if I could I go out of order or talk about the...
Yes, no, in any order you care to deal with it.
Okay, this Webster First financial request, Joanne and I are working on this in order to obtain a debit card for the business. And we set up an appointment. We should be meeting, Joanne, next week sometime?
Yes.
Okay, and that's just for your information.
Yep, cool.
And that's all I have to report.
All right, any questions from any members relevant to the treasurer's report? Okay, hearing none, I'll accept the motion.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Okay, the chair will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Okay. All right, we have the meeting minutes from 6/26/13, 7/2/13, 7/10/13, and 7/29/13.
Madam Chairman, Mr.
I
Chairman.
have some corrections. Mr. Chairman, I have some
Yeah,
corrections.
one moment, please. Let me just get out what we got here.
I think,
26,
July 29th.
The 10th.
Just some spelling mistakes.
okay, yeah.
I don't have the 13th. Well, let's take them one at a time. Relevant to the Wednesday, the June 26th, 2013. Any questions on the meetings? Any corrections?
Nope.
Okay, the chair will accept a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of June 26, 2013.
Chair will second. Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, the meeting minutes for Wednesday, June 26th, 2013 have been accepted. All right, the minutes of Tuesday, July 2nd, 2013. Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the July 2nd, 2013 minutes.
Chair will second. Any comment or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Acceptance. All right, next up will be Wednesday, July 10th, 2013. Chair will entertain a motion.
Again, a motion to accept the minutes of July 10th, 2013.
Chair will second. Any questions or comments by anybody? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
No.
All right,
Okay, I'm on a roll.
18th, and now we're going to the 29th.
Okay.
The chair will entertain a motion for the Monday night meeting, July 29th, acceptance of the minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple corrections.
Hold on a second. Okay,
I'll
somebody want to make the motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of July 29, 2013.
Okay, the chair will second. Questions or comments?
They're both down, Mr. Chairman. We have to just make a correction. It says Mr. Gerose Last sentence, it should be Mr. Rose.
I didn't notice that.
What were you talking about?
On the July 29th, the 5th bullet, last sentence. Excuse me, the second to last sentence.
Yeah,
Mr. Gerose?
Yeah, it says Mr. Rose, it should be Mr. Rose.
he wasn't here.
He wasn't here, okay.
Yeah.
So we want to make a correction to MS
Yep.
from MR.
Yep.
All right, we'll make that correction. So noted that the third paragraph down changed from Mr. Gerose to Ms. Gerose. Any further questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a couple more corrections, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, sir, what page?
It's going to be the last page, the last bullet, second paragraph, last sentence. It
Yep.
says, Mr. Lucy, my name's spelled L-U-C-E-Y, not L-U-C-Y.
L-U-C-E-Y?
Yeah,
All right,
sure?
we will note
positive. Check my driver's license.
L-U-C-E-Y. Okay, we'll make that change. Any other questions or comments?
And on the last, second to last paragraph, we also need to change Mr. Gerose to Miss Gerose.
Again, huh?
Yeah,
Joanne, what are you doing to me?
Okay,
yeah.
we'll change Mr. to Ms.
Yeah, I can't help it, you know.
Okay. All right, that's so noted, that's changed. Any other questions or comments? All right, all in favor of accepting the minutes with the changes for Monday, July the 29th?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye,
Right, 5-0, that's accepted with the changes. Changes so noted. You have those changes, Ms. Maradona, thank you. Okay, and all right, we have on the agenda the membership application, rules and regulations for joining. Does somebody on the board want to speak to that?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Mr. Ravagno?
I think it's time we need to revisit the rules and regulations and probably entertain some changes in it. There are a couple of things on there I think we might need to update concerning web addresses and things like that, it being the 21st century. If someone's gonna come in and they're gonna do a program and they're gonna put their own people up to do it, and maybe there's some cost incurred with it or something like that, I think it would be okay, in my opinion, to have like a courtesy to whoever helped sponsor that program. I'm not saying a whole infomercial or a big plug, or, you know, just consideration too, kind of thing. You know, there's a couple things I think I'd like to revisit in there, just to refine them, just to make us a little more fluent in what we do as a business. And
Okay.
any feelings on that from anybody?
Anybody want to comment on that?
No, I think you're right, Jim. I think it's a good idea, and I'd like to make a motion to have you and Mr. Nadeau maybe get together and sort of present something at the next meeting, or, you know,
Absolutely.
Okay.
you know, maybe you have some good ideas from your previous employment that maybe
Right,
we
yeah.
can incorporate into what we have.
That's what I'd love to do.
Yeah, try to streamline it a little bit better.
Streamline it and
Yeah.
have a nice afternoon.
And make it a little friendlier.
Yeah, whatever it takes really, but
Yeah.
it's more just so that everybody's on the same playing field. And
Right.
there's no specials to anybody. This is what we do, and if you fall in this category, this is how you have to do it.
Right, okay, that'd be great. So that's my motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'll speak on the motion relevant to rules and regulations. Everybody needs to be aware of the fact that ultimately the rules and regulations are something that the Board of Selectmen promulgate, and we can certainly suggest, and I think that's a great suggestion, but before we get into changing things, the understanding needs to be that the Board of Selectmen will always be in a position to accept, you know, or deny based on how they look at it and based on what it is we're putting forth to them. So noting that before we get, you know, well beyond what our responsibility and our authority is, anything to do with changes relative to rules and regs at this particular juncture will have to be run by the Board of Selectmen for approval. But certainly entry level, which is what you're suggesting.
Correct.
I think to clean up and make it more user-friendly, I'm certainly very much in favor of doing that.
Basically, an exploratory tiger team just to go through it and see. I mean, it's a living, breathing document. I mean, we should update it from time to time. I think now's a good time.
Okay. There is a motion. The chair will second Mr. Oz's motion relevant to Mr. Ravagno and Mr. Nadeau, looking at upgrading the situation relevant to application and just, general cleanup of some of our regulations, and we'll see where the rules come into it. Is there anybody else that wants to speak to that?
Just one comment, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Chairman. Just some quick notes here. Whatever we change from what's online, make sure it goes into the rules and regulations packet that we have here. That's online as well. But I'm just looking for a little consistency.
Yeah, we can redline
Yeah,
it.
it would be one master document.
It'll just be one master document. Okay, so we got-
If we made any changes, then all
we
of
got
it would be changed.
Different statements on the website versus the rules packet.
Right, yeah, there shouldn't be any.
So we just want to make sure it's just
Yeah,
one.
absolutely. What you see online,
Yeah.
what should be in my office.
Absolutely.
what should be-
Other than
And
that-
just to reiterate, so everybody understands,
Yep.
whatever it is this board does, it will have to be submitted to the Board of Selectmen for their concurrence on any type of changes, rules, and regulations. And then as long as they're given the blessing, then certainly relevant too, so we have consistency across the board, and I think that's a great idea. Any other comments?
Just one more. I have no desire to rewrite Section 8 at all, so I'm not
Okay,
touching
make
that.
that clear.
I'm making that
Make
perfectly
a note of that,
clear.
Joanne.
Section 8.
Yeah, for freedom of speech and that whole thing.
5 days,
Right.
waiting period.
Program.
Oh,
Presentation of-
Remember that?
Touch.
I thought you were making a funny Section 8, somebody...
No.
Presentation rules.
Okay, well, I just wanted to get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, any further comment?
No.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0, that will pass. Next item is the old SCTV members relevant to new applications. Do you want to address that, Mr. Rose?
We were talking about that before the meeting, weren't we? About
Yeah.
the postcards, and you've been going through the postcards.
We haven't gone through them, but we wanted to know what the board's pleasure was as far as going through them and...
Calling them out and-
Yeah, finding out if they're still interested and try to refresh their memory that we're still here.
Well, what do you think we should do? Contact them or just let them contact us?
Again, it's up to your discretion. It would be, if I go through it and there's some people that should be on there, I mean, sure, there needs to be some more volunteer activity going on down there, so I don't see it hurting. However, if there's a major cost to it and major man-hours to it, then, it might not be worth it. But I would like to see if there's any interest of former members that would like to come in.
Okay, well, let me suggest, and again, that's probably a very good idea. Certainly, if there's a cost factor involved, we'll have to look at that. But for you to look into that possibility, and you can maybe report back to us in a month or so.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, keep in mind that on the website, we want to always keep advertising, which we know you're doing, but to keep that up, and if there's any way to step up and upgrade that reach out,
Right.
through the website, we certainly encourage you to do that. But why don't you take that on and
Absolutely.
see what you come up with and give us a report at the next meeting,
Will do.
okay? Is that agreeable with
That's
everybody?
fine, yeah.
Okay. Mr. Rose, relevant to what's the first financial request to open the account, if you could just give a brief on that, please?
Well, I just went over that with you, didn't I? Can we do it again?
Yeah, you did, but this is on the agenda issue, so...
I know, but you allowed me to take it out of order. So-
Right, well, that's okay.
So we
So
took,
we'll put that down as your first report then, correct?
yes,
Okay,
that was
fine.
it.
That's good.
That was all I
All right.
had.
We now have on the agenda Saugus Life magazine.
I think it's here.
Would like to do an interview on SCTS, email attached. And the email is addressed to
Mr. Crowell,
who?
Roger.
Okay, are you aware of this email?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
You forwarded it right to me.
And why don't you just give the board a brief about what this is, if you know?
I believe what it is a free magazine that comes in through the mail to all the Saugus residents. And it's basically just a little bit of a lifestyle piece magazine. I was actually going to bring it in and didn't make it into my packet. They do it in all the towns. There's Beverly Life, there's Saugus Life. And as far as I know, it's not going to be any kind of dirt digging reporting. It's actually a nice fluff piece to show everybody in town who we are and what we do.
Okay. Do you feel it would be a plus?
I do.
Okay.
I have a question. I don't ever remember receiving that. How long has it
I've got
been?
it.
Did you get it?
I got it.
Is
Yeah,
it throughout the whole
monthly.
town?
It's supposed
And how
to be,
long
yeah.
have they been sending it to residents Saugus?
I know the Beverly one has been out for a few months, and then as soon as I stepped in, all of a sudden, this was one of the first emails that we
You
received.
got? Yeah.
So I'm not sure how long they've been doing it in town, but
Yeah, probably about 3 months.
Okay.
2 issues have gone out with employees, right?
Has everybody on the board seen this magazine?
I haven't.
Okay, well,
issues
I
have gone
haven't,
out,
and she hasn't. Well, wanted you to, is it something, do you feel it's going to be beneficial to Saugus Cable?
No, I feel that it has no beneficial value to us.
okay.
All right, I would,
We don't know who they are.
okay, well, then let me suggest that we ask our operations manager to look into a little bit further on the Saugus Life, see what you can find, if there's any background or track record they might have. and
Okay.
Why don't you investigate it to see if there's anything that might be beneficial for Saugus, SCTS in the town, and come back to us with a report in a month or two, and we'll see where we go from there. And the chair will accept the motion relevant to him investigating the matter further.
Jim, make the motion, Jim.
I'd like to make a motion to have Brian investigate this matter a little closer.
Okay, the chair will second. Any further comment? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, nobody opposed? All right, so you'll take that upon yourself, sir, and see what you can find out and report back to the board. Thank you.
Will do.
All right, now request a report from the operations manager, Mr. Nadeau, if you would, please.
Copies for everybody. Just some bullet points. Only been here 4 weeks, but it made it
Seems
almost
like
a
a
page
year,
and a
right?
half, so.
Seems like you've been here forever.
Excuse me. So, first, for people that don't know me at home, I'm Brian Nadeau, and the new operations manager here. And this is just kind of the way I see things the past 3 weeks and what I've actually been doing the past 3 weeks. First and foremost, the top thing on there, which I'm sure Mr. Petridge will be happy about, is we've got the possession of the high school equipment back from the high school teacher. And lo and behold, there's actually 3 cameras, not 2. We thought there was 2. So this is exactly why
Why
we
we're doing
wanted to
this.
get these things.
Yeah.
I have not gone through the inventory list yet because James is on vacation and he's the one that has the master list. As soon as he comes back, we will cross-reference everything, make sure they're on the agenda.
Okay, if I could just jump in real quickly,
Go right
get
ahead.
off and running.
Go ahead.
Is all this equipment workable?
Yes.
That's all I need to know. Thank you
Yep.
very much. Go right ahead.
Okay. As you can see, there's some other things, batteries, thumb drives, hard drives. I haven't hooked up the Western Digital hard drive yet, but I assume it's fine, and he said we can clear off any footage that's on there for the new year. So that's all set. Going along with inventory list, the new ASAP inventory system has arrived. It just came in this afternoon. I opened up all the boxes, and I've got the new scanner plugged in, charging up now, and I just have to install the program on the computer, and when Joanne gets back from vacation, we will set up a time to do the tutorial.
Tomorrow.
Oh, okay, so we'll set up a time tomorrow to set up the tutorial. Next is the storage unit on 222 Central Street, or 222 Central Storage, whatever it's called. It's been completely emptied, keys have been given back, is no longer a cost to the station. All the equipment has been brought back into, it's all in-house at the station. And we organized it and put it so it's not just, so you're not stepping on it, but it's there. A lot of it does have to be gone through at some point soon, because a lot of it is either not working, no usable, or it's stuff that it might work, it might be usable, but nobody's going to use it because it's just outdated technology. So we'll have to just designate that area and then figure out exactly what we want to do, how we want to dispose of that properly. But again, everything that came out of there is now in the studio. I didn't throw away anything. One of the first things I noticed when I walked into the studio is that the center room where the edit suites are and the broadcast rack is, the AC unit does not work. I've been in contact with NETR Incorporated to get that for them to come in. I got a quote for them to hopefully repair it. I don't know how long of a repair, because it is a system that came from the mid-90s. It may be time to replace the whole thing, but again, without knowing really the budget, first 3 weeks, I'm not gonna say, hey, we gotta replace this whole thing at a $30,000 cost or whatever it is. But it's been 85 degrees in there every day, every morning that I come in, and that's unacceptable for the broadcast equipment. We already had one of the bulletin boards out for repair and back. It's only gonna be a matter of time before another one comes in. And it's all because these things need to be at least 70 degrees, 72 at the most, and these things have been sitting at 81 all summer. So we've got some fans blowing from either of the other sections, trying to bring the AC in, and that drops it maybe 3-4 degrees by the end of the day. So that's definitely not an acceptable solution. It's not a solution at all, actually. Supposedly, they called me and said that they were going to schedule someone for early this week.
Oh, good.
Here it is, Wednesday night. So I'm not sure if they don't want to touch it, or we'll give them a call tomorrow morning when I get back into the office. But as you see on...
Mr. Chairman, through you, could I ask you, Brian?
Yes.
Is this the company that installed it originally, do you know?
I'm not sure if these are the ones that installed it originally, but these are the ones that have been in to install the
Maintaining?
older ones.
Okay.
I mean, the newer ones, excuse
The
me.
new one, so they're familiar with the system?
Right, the ones that are working are the ones that they installed, and that's why we called them back, because they
Maybe you
have...
should call them again tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll definitely call them back in the morning.
Question on, did you get anybody else that,
I did not, only
Well,
because
offer
this
it.
was one of the first things I did, and it was the normal people that knew the building. I can obviously go ahead and get 2 other quotes and see what they think, absolutely. I only did it because it was the ones
well,
that...
it's good to at least get that in the pocket, so we have that just in case, but the idea of going with the 3 because of, if it's gonna be over the $3,000, then we'll have to deal with it relevant to, a board vote and so forth.
Right.
But
At this point, it's only a $1,000 cost.
if
so-
you could keep exploring that, that would be
Oh, I
great.
will.
All right.
I'm not going to stop until
Thank you.
we get this thing nice and cool. And then probably by then, I'll have to deal with the heat. So I don't know in that situation. It's 2 different units. So the heat unit could be bad too. I don't know. Moving on, the programming. I've been taking a real good look at the programming, trying to figure out everything really. And one of my big obstacles coming from Marblehead, using one station for everything, is we got to segregate programming, because you can't really have everything on every channel, because that defeats the purpose of everything. And so you really have to figure out what is deemed educational, what is deemed government, and then everything else obviously falls into the public access. So there's been a few changes. The NASA channel, any of that programming is going to be moved onto the educational channel only. You won't see that on Channel 8 anymore. It'll be just on 22. Democracy Now!, that's obviously a government show. That is going to stay on the government channel. You don't really need to see that on Channel 8. And there's going to be a few more changes going on, and that brings me to a couple other things down here. But that's one of the things that we're trying to do, is so that there's not a lot of repeat programming on every channel. Hey, I saw this on this channel, I saw it on that.
Mr. Chairman, through you.
Yes, go ahead.
Just one note, Brian.
Yes.
There was one show on there that could be kind of controversial. It's the late Dr. Lady show.
Okay.
I've watched it multiple times, and there is partial nudity on the show,
Really? Okay.
and there is some semi-sexual things going on the show that you might want to at least move the show to 11 o'clock.
Absolutely, I was not aware of any of that.
Yeah, it was
I
on
will
last
definitely take a
Sunday.
look tomorrow.
It was on last Sunday. I didn't
Okay.
see anything wrong with it, but in the
Okay.
past, the show does have a
Okay, I was told
history
it was
of...
acceptable,
Yeah,
my program
so-
manager
Okay,
said.
strong
let
sexual
me jump in and say,
Yes.
Yeah.
the time is 12:01 a.m.
Absolutely.
up through 5 a.m. in the morning. That's the
Absolutely.
time relevant to, if you want to say, the risque programming, but it's after midnight, and not beyond 5 a.m.
Absolutely.
And those stipulations.
And I thought
are there.
the horror movie thing was after midnight, but I will look at the
Well,
program
I
schedule
wasn't
again.
speaking of,
Okay.
the question he brings up relevant to something of a sexual nature.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or partial nudity, whatever it might be, it's midnight to 5 a.m. We don't want to run it any earlier, and certainly
Right,
not any
absolutely
later than
not.
5 a.m.
And I'll take a look at it as soon as I get back to the studio in the morning, and if there's anything questionable, it'll either be put late at night or taken right off.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Anything else, sir?
Nope.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
continue, sir.
Okay, bring me trying to find some more outside programming, because obviously there's not a lot of new programming being made except for the town meetings, any of the board meetings, Founder's Day, which I'll get into a little bit later. But there's some websites out there that, as long as you ask permission, you can get some of their programming. We've already worked with PEG Media to get a bunch of shows on. And I stumbled onto this DVIDS hub, Divids, and it's basically it's a bunch of military videos. And you can use it in your newscast. If you do a newscast, it's all set. So you can just take some clips, B-roll, what have you. And I think a lot of that would be helpful.
It's like file footage kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a lot of it's file footage, but there's also a show that's that I thought was very interesting, In the Fight, and it's actually a monthly half-hour military program showcasing the latest action from the field, and it's not just gun stuff. It's really well produced, and it just talks about the things that our soldiers are dealing with around town. Like, there's beautiful shots of all the helicopters, airplanes.
Oh, that's great.
It's not a violent, propaganda piece. It's more to just show people back home what's going on across seas. And I've gotten permission to air that, and we're trying to figure out how to get that to air correctly. So,
Great.
and that will air on the government channel, obviously. There's no need to put that on educational or public. Let's see, where am I? And I actually found this website because a citizen had emailed me to request some EPA climate change PSAs that she had found on that website and asked if we could air them. And there was about a half a dozen 30-second spots that are great. It's telling you how to reduce your carbon footprint, change your light bulbs to the incandescents,
Or vice versa.
Right. And, shut lights off when you're not in the room. Common sense stuff, but...
Kids should watch that.
Right. And I figured that we can put that on during the community bulletin board slots, because at the moment there are quite a few bulletin board slots. But that goes along with, that's a PSA slate, this is a PSA commercial. So I'll just have programming sprinkle those in throughout the week. Any questions on that so far? I know it was kind of rattling.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
As long as it's not, somebody like the Sierra Club that's pro this, if it's a genuinely generic type of thing about turn the lights off, turn your AC off.
No, the
that's
EPA
great,
is
but-
the only one that sponsors that, and it's an EPA website at the end, but it's all
Fine,
environmental
thank you.
protection,
That's good
nonprofit.
explanation. Thank you.
And same thing with the In the Fight. There are two different versions that you can choose from. One has commercials in it for like the U.S. Army, Navy, Marines, and one that doesn't. So I'm airing the one that doesn't, and it's just the straight television show, no ads for anything. That's about it for programming. Next is equipment. We've got one XH-A1 Canon camera out of repair. It's actually the same one that's recording now. We have two, and now one is out of house being repaired. As soon as that returns, I'm going to send that one out because that one may be having some lighting issues. We're going to test that today. I know how bright it is in here. If it comes back to the studio and it's darker, then there's definitely something wrong with that. But even if there isn't a problem, it still needs to be cleaned and just
Taken
tightened
care
up.
of, yeah.
In regards to the television shows, I'm not sure if anybody really notices or not. One of the things I notice is a lot because of the standard def to high definition conversion, and we're shooting in high def or widescreen. Some of the things that are being shot or even given to us end up squished, and everybody looks stretched a little bit. I'm trying to resolve that issue so that anything that is 16 by 9 will be shrunk down with widescreen bars at the top and bottom. That way, nothing gets cut off, nothing gets skewed, nothing gets stretched. Everything, the aspect ratio that is shot maintains. For people that have the 4x3 square TVs, you're just going to see bars at the top and bottom and everything in the middle. For those that do have the widescreen TVs, you're gonna see bars at the top and bottom and pillars on the side. If that bothers you, there is an option to just zoom out. And then it'll go full screen.
We gonna have custom bars in there, or is it just gonna be
No, just black.
just black?
Yeah, I think that's a piece of equipment that we would have to actually custom decide. But then we'd want to stay away from that because sometimes there's stuff that isn't SCTS that we don't want it on. That could become an issue.
Let me go back one on this,
Yep.
the cameras that are up for repair.
Yep.
Where did you send them?
I knew that was going to be a question. Jimmy takes care of that. He's on vacation someplace in Reading.
Okay.
And
That's- I'm familiar with that.
Okay, that's where we
probably the
use-
closest and a well-respected one, I'm told.
Right, yeah, and we used them just recently to fix that community bulletin board that was down.
You're satisfied with that?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
absolutely.
Good.
Volunteer.
So everybody else set with the aspect ratio? It's something that some people might not notice, but I noticed it and it drives me bananas. You know, I want to see the person the way they're supposed to be. I don't want to see them stretched, I don't want to see them cut off or wide, or I just want to see it the way it's supposed to be. That'll bring us to the volunteer training class. We have finally set a date. That is going to be September 18th at 6:30 PM. Everybody is welcome to attend, all of you, anybody at home. We'd love to get as many people in there and show you exactly what it is that we do and how you guys can, if any of you have a show idea or any of you at home.
Question.
Yes,
Could we put this on the website and also put it on B-Board?
It's
already
already
is.
on there.
Beautiful,
Already
okay.
is. Yes, we've been sending that all out. But anybody that has even just an idea of a show or a program or something, even if they don't have an idea but they want to help, you know, just tape sports events, or maybe you like all the things at the library and you want to shoot the library lectures. That's what local access is. It's all volunteers doing their thing and helping the community and helping the station. The more volunteers out there doing stuff, the more programming we're gonna get, because no matter how many staff members we are, we only have so many staff members. We can't do everything. So, yes.
Did you have any follow-up? I was approached at the station, this is going back around a month. The young fellow wanted to do something down at the Belmonte School.
Jimmy Carabias.
What is it?
Jimmy Carabinas.
Jimmy
No,
Carabinas?
not middle school. That was Roger's son.
Oh, okay. My apologies.
Oh, Roger's son, the
Roger's
middle
son.
school club?
Right, the middle school club.
Yeah, but Jimmy also wanted to do something, and I told him, by all means, explore it, and then
Those
I'll
were
get
the Boy
back to the
Scouts.
station.
Yeah.
Jimmy's actually going to be helping us out on Founder's Day. He's
Okay.
going to be doing that, the same thing that he's done in the past.
Okay.
I saw that, I like it. We're going to set him up and do all the questions. What does Founder's Day mean to you, Saugus? And, you know, there'll be a few questions. We'll make sure that he has the correct parameters, and
Excellent.
he'll go at it.
Okay, but you haven't heard from Jimmy Carabinas?
No, that's who I was talking
That's
about.
what
Okay,
I'm
all
talking
right.
about.
Yeah, he's called a few times. He's ready to go, and we're on it.
Work with the kid.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Not a problem. And I believe he's going to be at the training class as well. We've got quite a list, actually, so should be pretty
Oh,
interesting
that's
to see.
great, great.
Yeah. Just a couple of housekeeping items. Actually, let me skip to the last thing about Founder's Day. Founder's Day was not covered live last year, but in the years past, apparently what has been done, our feed and where our table is at the library. And there's a camera across the street at Town Hall getting the stage and any of the presentations, speakers, what have you. We have to get a feed somehow from that camera across the street. In years past, apparently the DPW had been asked to do a favor and string the cable from light post to light post across the street. Now, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, that couldn't be a clean signal, and of course it wasn't. It was very noisy. They said they couldn't figure it out. My experience is anything near, any video cable near electrical is going to give you all sorts of hum and feedback. The solution that I found is going to have a little bit of a cost, but if you go to any of the concerts or any other type of outdoor event or even an indoor event that has to run cables where people will walk or even maybe cars go, there's these things called yellow jackets. And they're just these ramps. They look like speed bumps, but it's in a 3-foot section. Yes? Oh,
No,
I
no
thought you had a
problem.
question. They're in 3-foot sections, and they have almost like Legos at the end where you interlock them like puzzle pieces.
Oh, yes.
And they will run the entire length of the street. We'll run our video cable and our audio cable. close everything down, and it just becomes a speed bump. And since the street is closed down, and it's just foot traffic, there's not going to be any issues of tripping, spilling. It's all the fire code. I would love to borrow them from other communities. The one community that I knew had it was Peabody, and they have their international festival the next day. So they're already setting it up when we need it. We did search a few vendors, and they're roughly about $15 to $20 a piece. And then we'd have to figure out how to get them to and from. We did find this one from Port Lighting System, who offered us a 20% discount because we are just a local access facility. I've got them at $15 a piece, minus the 20%, and I can get them delivered and taken away for $75 a piece. This company comes from Seabrook, New Hampshire, so that's pretty good as far as travel time. Everybody else that wanted to deliver was $100 at least. So that gives me a total cost of about $390 just for this one day, which is kind of a lot, but it will give us the clean signal. And then after that, we can decide if this is something that we want to do for the next years and the years after, or if we want to spend roughly about $2,000 to purchase them. And then we'll have them for every year and every, any other type of situation. But that's a large cost that I didn't want to present to the board now, and that's why I looked into renting.
Okay, I'll just make a comment. The town manager is looking into, something that's probably gonna be bigger than just running the cable across the street.
No, you're talking about the I-loop and the fiber, right?
No, I'm not necessarily talking about that.
Oh.
He has thoughts about wiring the whole town with whatever and so forth. That's the best thing I can say. And I would certainly say that whatever it is for communication in the town, I'm certainly in favor of it for whatever it might be. But I would think we should probably find out, but certainly at the least, if this is gonna make it clean, to rent, for this year, and then see where the town wants to go beyond that as far
Right.
as something a little bit more permanent than running a wire across the street.
Right, and that's how I presented it.
So the cost factor to rent these things would be,
$390,
and,
and that will get us through this year's Founder's Day.
okay, if we pick these things, is there another vendor around here,
There were a couple other vendors, but again, they were a higher cost.
higher cost to deliver or higher cost? to
Overall, this is the only place that's giving us a 20% discount on the actual rental of the 20 yellow jackets that I'm looking for. So I could cut the cost by $150 and pick them up in my own truck and bring them back in my own truck.
Well, we
could
could
do
make
that.
arrangements for a truck if it went that way. But,
Right. But as far as cost of rental, this is the cheapest that we'll find, especially when we're only 2 weeks out.
Anybody want to jump in on
No,
this?
I noticed the sound on the Founder's Day has always been difficult.
Especially the stuff across the street.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
what they've been doing is sending that wire across and then the audio wirelessly,
Interference.
and it just doesn't sync up, and then of
Right.
course that electrical light.
And perhaps if we think about purchasing that eventually,
Then we
there'd
can
be
use it for
other,
anything.
right, there'd be other events that we would be able to use that for.
Absolutely.
And would be able to store it anywhere?
That would be the biggest question,
That
the
would be,
storage.
yeah, where do you put them?
Depend, again, if we can get rid of some of this old
Yeah,
equipment that will never
okay,
be used, then it'll
okay,
free up some
Okay,
space.
good,
So,
okay.
you know.
So it sounds like a great idea,
Yeah,
and
that's
I
pretty
would,
much the hardest thing is where we're gonna store these
Yeah.
20 if we do purchase them.
What other date, like sporting events and things like
It's
that?
possible, especially if we do multi-camera shoots,
Mm-hmm.
and we've got cameras in the stands or even down on the ground, and we have to go from the stands to the field.
Yeah.
Absolutely, those cross
Could
the
we rent
street.
them out to other cities and towns if they need them?
That would be the pleasure of the board.
Exactly.
I got a question. What about doing that wirelessly? Is there a cost?
There really, I'd have to go into that direction. There's going to be a cost to do it wirelessly. You'd have to find a transmitter receiver that's strong enough, that's reliable enough to get both the video and the audio signal across. But I'm sure that's going to be a lot more than $2,000.
Right, no, I don't, 'cause
But for future use, yes,
right, so the way
absolutely,
I'm
we
looking
could
at
look at
things is
that.
this, if we buy this for $2,000, and we're gonna use it maybe
Once a year,
twice,
right,
yeah. It's
exactly.
not really worth the money to purchase them, because I'm gonna store them for the rest of the time too.
Right.
So
Unless
they're
there's
gonna
something
be
that
someone
they
on the
use.
foot as well.
Right.
So I think, renting them would be great, and the other part, to, maybe go wirelessly like everybody
Yeah,
else does.
and again, I
Security.
only had 4 weeks to figure this out.
Yeah.
If I have a year to figure it out, yeah, we could look into wireless technology.
This may be a stupid question, but can you have the feed come out from the town hall? Do you have to go across the street?
I was thinking that as well.
Good, it's not stupid then.
No, it's not stupid, because they have a live feed too. However, that live feed is on the second floor,
Oh,
and we would have to run it out the window, down the side, and then down into the grass. And apparently, I have to get a tech to come in and look at that signal. It's not as clean of a signal as the library is.
okay. All right.
So that's why I decided, okay,
Okay.
let's keep it at the library,
Okay.
keep everything the way it is.
That makes sense, thank
We,
you.
then again,
did
this
call-
might not be an issue next year either.
Right,
Because of the fire.
It probably won't be.
yeah.
Because of,
Is the
The
general
fiber
feeling
backlighting's going
that,
right, exactly. That, once that fiber comes in, all of the live meetings and live feeds will look
Oh.
1,000 times clearer.
Wonderful.
That's another thing that I saw was the iLoop, iNet, whatever you want to call it.
iNet, yeah.
It's severely degraded, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's just, that's the way it is. It's 30 years old.
is the general feeling we should probably just rent this year?
Yeah.
And then,
Then revisit.
that'll solve the problem for this
For
year,
this
and then
year,
look
yeah.
forward beyond
Yeah,
that.
and then I'll have 12 months to figure out next year.
So do we need a motion on that or no?
Yeah, we're definitely there's gonna be an expense. We'll just deal with this. Somebody wanna make a motion?
I'll make a motion to expend, was it $390?
390, yep.
In order to get the equipment you need
Yeah,
for,
well, if you guys want to take a look at it before you...
okay. And they deliver it
Yep, that's 75 to deliver, 75 to take it
in and
away.
out 8 AM, and you have to check it back in at 6 PM.
And it looks like it's a week unless their dates are wrong. So-
Yeah, it looks like a week.
Right, that's what it looks like.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that was an error or not, but we definitely only need it the one day.
Yeah.
so.
So it was listed at $300 and $240,
Yeah,
okay.
they were listed 15 apiece, and we need 20 of them.
Great. That sounds.
We measured the length of the street and the sidewalk, and
So
that
how many
should
you
give
need?
us enough.
Good job. Well,
Is,
my motion's on the table.
Yep, we're gonna do that one second. Does that cover all, that cover everything, including insurance? Was there any question of that?
There is no, that's up to you. There's no insurance with them as far as if somebody trips on them, who's
We're liable. The town.
You know,
The
we'll
town.
we'll be liable. I'm talking about damage or, let's just say one of those things walks
Right.
away. I mean, is there any, and that's what I think my only concern is.
I can
Certainly
ask-
to
I can
rent,
give them a call and
I
ask
think we
them.
should probably make sure that the base is covered and there's no extra charge for insurance relevant to theft or damage to that equipment
Okay, like a
itself.
U-Haul or something, if they come in all damaged. Okay, I got you. I'll ask them that.
But
Sure,
I
that's
would
all I
certainly, in the interest of time right now, with the codicil of, as long as, they're covering insurance,
Yep.
we're not gonna be on the hook for that, that we could certainly go forward with the motion relevant to rent, predicated on you researching the insurance aspect of that.
Absolutely.
All right, the chair will second that motion. Is there any further discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, and you'll run that down
Yep.
as far as that and make sure that base is covered.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they can just set up an account and they'll bill us since
Okay.
we don't have the card. Otherwise, we'll have to figure something else out, but
Good.
we'll get it done.
Great.
Okay.
We're going back to
Vimeo?
Vimeo Plus.
The Vimeo account, so.
Let's go back to the Vimeo Plus account. That's where we house all of our shows on the internet for viewing. And Vimeo is a free account, but there's Vimeo Plus, and that gives you a little bit more ability to customize your page. And it also gives you a lot more gigabytes to store the footage. Right now, the regular Vimeo doesn't really allow you to have a whole lot up there. Obviously, they want to make money off it. We paid for it in the past. Unfortunately, it's up for renewal, and we just need to figure out a way to renew that. And
Okay.
there is a way to set up an automatic renewal as well.
Can
So
you give us a
when that-
cost factor as to what it used to be and what the plus is?
Yes, what,
It's $59.95, it's been that for the past 2 years.
There you go.
That's for the regular Vimeo.
No,
right?
no, regular Vimeo is free, but you can't really put a whole
59
up
plus.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's limited.
That's very
for what we've
limited.
had.
Extremely
And
limited.
the Vimeo Plus,
Is what we've been using in the past to get everything up on there, all the meetings with no storage
okay.
problems.
So the Vimeo Plus is 59,
$59.95
and what does that cover? How long?
for a year.
Wow.
Okay. Somebody want to make a motion on that real quick?
I'd like to make a motion to allocate $59.95.
I'll second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Huh?
I'll second that motion.
No, the chair will second that.
Can you buy multiple years to
Huh? Well, for right now, let's just.
Is there a deal if you do like 3 years?
Anyway, there's a motion on the floor.
Okay, it's just an auto renewal and it'll be the
Yeah,
same
okay, there's
cost.
a motion on the floor that we upgrade to a Vimeo Plus for $59.95. Motion been made and seconded. Any further comments on that?
Oh, I got one more comment, sorry. We used to put stuff on YouTube. Are we still doing that? Have we kept up with it? Is there a reason why we're not doing it?
We just haven't done it.
Do they still have the 15-minute rule or they?
That's what I had to figure out. I never
Yeah,
could find out.
at one point, YouTube would only allow you to put up 15 minutes. That's it. Whatever your program is, whatever your show is, it stops at 15 minutes. I think they may have eliminated that cap at this point, and again, there may be a cost to avoid that cap. But I can look into that, and if that's what the board wants, is to have it on both Vimeo and
I
YouTube.
think I'd like to look into it, because Vimeo's not accessible to everybody.
Right. Yep.
Because of their, the certificate that they hold on their site isn't valid to everybody to look at it.
Okay, no, I get what you're going on that, but we're strictly talking the Vimeo right now. Do we want to withdraw that motion?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I really
then
don't.
let's,
Okay, yes.
okay, the other piece that you want to discuss relevant to, what is it,
YouTube.
YouTube? Let's deal with the Vimeo for right now.
Okay.
There's a motion made, but seconded. Any further comment on that?
No,
Okay,
no comment.
all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, why don't you go ahead and do that now?
And again, I'll need that once, as soon as that credit card comes in.
Okay, Jim, do you want to get back onto that?
Yeah, because we used to do, YouTube is a lot more accessible to everybody else too as well, but like I said, that also has its limitations, and we used to put our shows up there, we used to put a lot of our stuff on there, I think it's,
And sometimes they put their own real commercials at the beginning and the end, too,
Right,
which we'd like to stay away from. as
right,
well.
but if you have, I think you're, right, I think if you're on your own thing, that they don't do that.
Right, okay.
So-
Again, I'd have to look into
We'd
the
have to look
actual
into it,
YouTube.
correct.
I wasn't aware that we were on there. I thought it was just strictly Vimeo, and there was a reason for
All
that,
right.
but
But I'd like
Definitely something to look into.
if we possibly
Okay,
could, and that's
you're
free.
looking at that then?
absolutely.
That's free.
All right. Do you have anything else, sir?
Yep.
Just one more thing. Again, this is a cost, and it doesn't have to be now, tomorrow, or even this year. It's actually at the top of the back page, above the Founder's Day stuff. The library community room is being used an awful lot for meeting coverage. There's 3 meetings that meet there every month. So if you do the math, that's at least 36 times a year that this room is being covered by SCTS. And that's not including any of the library talks or anything that goes on in that room. I did see that the past director was trying to get robotic cameras in that room, similar to the ones that are up at the selectmen and the school committee room. I'll have to dig out those paperwork again as far as who has approved or what, or probably go through the process again. But that would be a capital expense down the line to get that, so we could just go live from that room at any time.
Let me just say that the town manager is studying that situation, and until they have what they want to see over there, and they'll let us know, I think we need to defer on that until, they've looked at that whole situation. But I
Okay.
know that that is under active discussion with the town manager right now, so.
Okay.
We'll certainly defer, and then you can certainly liaise with them
Absolutely.
when we get into that position.
I just wanted to bring it up that is something that
Yeah.
I was looked into and think would be a good expense, or not a costly expense, but a good use of money.
Yep. Okay.
And that's all I have for the first, 3.5 weeks that I've been here.
Good job.
Anybody have any questions?
I have one question.
Go ahead.
Where is the Board of Health meetings filmed?
Those are at the library.
Those at the library?
Yep. Library, that meeting, the Board of Appeals,
House?
and what's the other one?
Planning Board?
Planning board is next to the road building.
What about the zoning?
Next to the Roby Building?
Town Hall Annex, Janice.
Oh, the Conservation Commission is there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know that the Board of Health, I can't hear that. It's very difficult to hear.
Right,
Anybody
and
notice
we've
that?
actually
Yes, I
changed
have.
the audio in there at the
Yeah, it's
last
very-
assessors meeting.
Oh, you're gonna have
Yep,
these
this
for
is
them?
where
Wonderful.
we start setting that
Great.
microphone system up
Great.
over there for the appeals meeting.
Yeah.
And it sounds a lot better.
Yeah,
So
good.
once that airs, you'll hear a difference. And
Great.
you'll hear a difference in tonight's meeting as well.
Good. Okay, thank you.
Any further questions for Mr. Nadeau?
No.
All right, on
Good job.
behalf of the board, Mr. Nadeau, your first report is one heck of a report. You've covered all the bases, and we're very happy, and thank you very, very much.
Great,
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything that the board wants to bring up at this point?
No? Not me.
Okay, and seeing no citizens in the house, no comments from there, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, before we
Yes.
do, perhaps we should talk about our next meeting?
Yeah.
Which will be next month, the end of the last week in, I don't even know what month this is.
September.
September, okay. September. Thought it was still July.
It's that
I don't
humidity.
even know what month it is.
It's that humidity.
Ah, dear.
Wednesday, the 25th.
Wednesday, the 25th, okay. Great, thank you. That's all I have.
Anybody with any other questions?
When and where? Is it still in this room at the same time?
As of right now, it's scheduled, we have this room scheduled for the meeting.
7 o'clock.
Yeah, 7 PM.
Thank you.
Any other comments from any board members?
No?
Okay, motion is on the floor for adjournment. The chair will second, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, the chair will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, time now is 7:51.
Thank you.
Okay.